स्पॉटलाइट में आपका स्वागत है। मैं हूं आपकी होस्ट अमीता। Join me weekly as I talk to guests who will inspire us to be the change towards our own spotlight. We all yearn for true happiness, but most of us don't even really know what it means. We are all born into and grow up in different cultures, each boasting a path towards true happiness. In this day and age when we have advanced technology and when we have the freedom to travel, the world is getting smaller. Therefore, there is cultural assimilation, which in turn gives us more resources towards true happiness. Today, we'll be turning to the Shaolin culture for some guidance. I have the pleasure of talking to the head board chairman and the director at the Vibesource Academy, who is also a descendant of the Shaolin Temple. Let us welcome to our show, Mr. Herman Siu. Welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for taking the time to come and give us some guidance today.
Thank you for having me.
There's so much negativity in the world. You turn the news on and all you hear is about negative events.
Yes.
So we are all looking for some kind of positive change in the world, and I was wondering, I know you are trained in the Shaolin culture.
Yes.
What is Shaolin culture approach to true health, happiness, success?
So Shaolin culture understands that we have three principles we must always abide by: our mind, our body, and our souls. The reason why so many people are lost and they get lost is because each action they take is always disrespecting one of those three. If we do not respect all three with every action we take, that's when we get in trouble. And once we get into trouble, it's very difficult to get back, because then people learn to have this entitlement feeling. And once that sets in, it's very difficult to become unrotten or unspoiled.
Very well said. And it's hard because people don't realize that these three have to be in unison.
Yes.
And I think a lot of the Eastern cultures do, go by this, but I guess we don't see that in the Western culture as much. But I know you have actually adapted that kind of training.
Yes.
And to Western culture. How come?
Because I grew up here.
Okay.
So by growing up here, you could understand the people. So by growing up with the Shaolin culture, but also the Western culture, you could see where one lacks and one needs more of. And then you fill in the holes and the gaps, and then you have the strength to understand what we were meant to do. It's like Gandhi said, be the change we want to see in the world. And the only way to do that is to understand each and every type of person we have on this planet.
Well said. So it's love is what brings us all together, and I guess we help each other. We don't stay within our own culture, but also spread the love, what our culture teaches, and also adapt to what, say, for example, the Western culture teaches. So now you have taken that training or your background and the experience where you have actually taken the Shaolin culture, adapted it to the Western culture, and now you're bringing it to us so that we can get trained and we can understand what this is all about. So tell us a little bit about your live events.
So the live events, we teach a lot where people don't get in school. People go to school, they just get school in, but they don't have the real education. Real education is wisdom, it's experience, it's what our grandparents, our great-grandparents have to cut the learning curve down. And what we need to do is understand, respect where we came from, respect what they had, be grateful for what wisdom they did have. See, we live in a world full of information. Cell phones, iPads, internet everywhere. But as a species, we're starving for wisdom. And so my goal is to, when we have these events, is to change people and understand how to ace life, ACE. Adapt, change, evolve. The reason why a lot of the millennials are having a lot of trouble and why a lot of the older age population have trouble, because they stopped adapting. So they don't make the change and they cannot evolve.
Very well said. So yeah, you're true in saying that we become so involved with materialism. We, I guess, forget the true meaning of life. I mean, we all come to Earth. We all have to leave this Earth, and what we do in between is up to us. But I guess we get sucked into maybe the wants rather than the true needs in life.
Well, no one built the foundation. So what is the meaning of life?
I don't know myself either.
Right? So the meaning of life is to find your gift. Then the purpose of life is to give that gift away.
Wow, profound. That's awesome. And that's where, again, people need to realize, once they realize that we all do need some guidance in that, because I think, like you said, we have forgotten to adapt, so we cannot change and then we cannot evolve. So tell us about, at these live events, so you bring back that concept that Shaolin culture teaches about the mind, body, spirit training.
Yes.
Why do we start with the mind?
So the mind is the greatest thing on this planet that we have. It can conceive, it can perceive, it can change, it can adapt, it can change, evolve. Whereas the body, it's stuck in one box. So if we train the mind first, when the mind is really strong, then we match the body with the health. Make them into unison, and we tap into the soul. We live through the soul. That's when all the wisdom starts to come out. When we live through the soul, that's when we get to tap into what's known as spirit. That's why when you look at a little child, it runs around, wants to sing, dance, play. It's tapped into spirit. As soon as it goes into school or it gets told no, the neural pathways start blocking, block, and it stops living in that same spirit, and it just starts living through the body, and then it becomes an intellectual and only lives in the mind. See, in order for us to keep going, we have to learn, relearn all the time. All the time. We can't just say we learned something once and that's it.
So true. Yeah, we are dynamic individuals.
Yes.
I guess it kind of separates us from just being a pure animal.
Yes.
So we have to keep that in mind. And yeah, you're so right. We sometimes fall within the box of expectations, and then we forget that process.
Yes.
Such an interesting concept and so much guidance here towards true happiness. We want to go into it further, but before that, it's time for a short break. Welcome back to Spotlight. We are talking to Mr. Herman Siu. So now we understand why it's important to start with the mind. So then we go on to training the body as part of your live events. So I know there are sessions where you actually train the body physically. One question I have for you is, on a day-to-day basis, people don't realize what goes into their body also affects them in many ways. What I'm particularly hinting to is food.
Yes.
How does food affect our body and changes?
Good question.
Yeah.
So we live in a world where people view food as products. Back in the old days, people viewed food as energy. If we understand that we're all energy, then we match the right foods that are the correct energy for what we need to sustain our body. If you just buy the products that are in boxes and cans, that's just a product, and you put it into this energy, it does not absorb, it does not give the full efficacy of what we need to sustain the body so that we can live a longer life, more fulfilling life, to do more with our life.
Well said. So really each individual is unique. They have a different energy, and they really need to feed themselves based on that, not just blindly follow the herd, as they say.
Exactly.
So that's why I guess it's important to start again with the mind training, so we understand what is really our mind about.
Yes.
So then we can fuel that particular energy better.
Correct.
So interesting. So that's why I guess there are people, they talk about with food addictions. We see a lot of obesity these days because you're probably not feeding yourself the right energy.
Exactly.
So then at these live events, how do you train the body?
So the first thing we have to do is get rid of baggage. What good is it to have a body if you're full of baggage? It's like saying you're trying to fly a plane, but it only can take an X amount of weight. Right? What if it was too full, then it can't take off? So it's the same thing with our bodies. If we have all the baggage sitting all around us and we can't exercise, we can't stretch, we can't move in the direction that we need to move, then what good is it when we have an illness and we have all this baggage? How can you ever get healthy? You just add in and compound in the problem. So we have to get rid of all the baggage, all the nonsense, all the noise, so that we can be that vessel that when we first came into the world of that pureness.
Love it. Yeah, we all come into the world pure, but unfortunately carry on everything and become a baggage, then we become unhealthy. But again, we have the guidance here that as long as we are aware of this fact, we can turn to somebody like you, even through these live events. So we have talked about realizing what your mind is all about, helping your body, then get trained in it. And then, like you said, then that helps us feed our soul better. But now, I have to ask you, mind, yes, we feel, we say, we know things are coming from the mind.
Yes.
Body we actually see.
Yes.
But the spirit or the soul is something intangible. How do you claim to train the spirit at your live event?
You first have to believe. Gandhi said he had the formula for us to conquer life. He said, you have to believe. So the beliefs become thoughts. The thoughts become words. The words become actions. Those actions become habits. Those habits became the virtue. Those virtue then became your destiny. It all started at the very beginning with belief. So most people don't understand the soul because they haven't believed it. So how do you know you have one? Why do you close your eyes when you dream, kiss, and pray?
Well, for me, I would say I feel like I connect better to, if I close my eyes, I take the noise around me away from me.
Correct. And so the soul needs us to get rid of that baggage so that when we close our eyes to dream, kiss, and pray, it allows it to come to the surface to be experienced, to be shared. That's how we know we have a soul deep inside.
There you go. Wow. That is, so you don't really need something tangible, you know it's there.
And that's when the mind is strong enough, it can combine all three, the mind, the body, and the soul, so that when you are pure as a vessel, you can go out and be the change you want to see in the world, because the change starts with us.
Very well said. There you go. So mind, body, and spirit training at these live events. Now I have to ask you, also in this day of instant gratification,
Yes.
do you face challenges when you tell people, like today I'm convinced it is all about the mind, body, and soul training.
Yes.
But when people say, hey, I need the results right away, do you have challenges convincing people?
So that's when we ask the person, do they drive a car? They say yes. Okay, so what gear did the car have to go in first? It had to go in first gear, but you couldn't put it into sixth gear. Why? Everything has a process, everything has a stage, everything must go through the process of the stage. So if you drive a manual car, you understand that it has to be in first gear, start off, then you put it in the second gear. You can't go from first to sixth gear right away. People live in this entitlement world where they want to be from first and put it right into sixth and forget everything in between, not appreciating what it took to get to the sixth gear. And that's where gratitude and gratefulness, where the humility comes from, where the Shaolin culture is all about appreciating the little things such as the air, the food, the water.
Very well said. So yes, so it's not about instant gratification, and Mr. Herman Siu told us, but can you demonstrate that we don't need that science, the technology? It's like the example you gave us about closing our eyes when praying, that this is really a fact.
So a lot of people that come to these events have seen the videos we have on Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, and the reason why they came to that is because they've seen something they have never seen before. And what they saw was the ability that someone can reach right through to someone else's soul, like that. Everybody sees, they look at body language, they look at maybe palm reading, they look at something else, but no one can actually see right through your soul. The Shaolin training that we've bestowed is to learn how to see right through to the soul, to know what makes you up, to know your constitution, to know where your energy is weak, where your energy is strong, and then give you the right antidote so you can raise that vibration and frequency, that energy. So would you, instead of talking about it, would you like to see it?
I would, sure.
Okay, so right inside of you, you're extremely intelligent, you master concepts very quickly. Problem is, you master it so quickly, you leave other people in the dust. And sometimes you draw back, and that's a bad habit, because you need to keep going and keep finding new and better people to help sustain you to rise up. Okay? On top of that, you had a very, very smart childhood. You're very, very intelligent. But a lot of times in the personal life, the emotions kind of maybe played a part that maybe were not great with those thoughts, with those feelings, with those choices. And so the emotions must be learned to be taken away from what our thoughts are. That's the key. So you said, when we first met, that this is you, this is your new career path. But in order to truly master that, you have to take the emotion that you have, the passion you have for it, but then take the vision, combine it, and then make that your mission. So you have to take the dream, make it into vision, take it into vision, and then make it into your mission.
Wow. And let me tell you, Mr. Herman Siu did not know about my childhood, my upbringing, and I must say, you're quite true in what you have told me.
Right?
Yes, very, very true. Wow, eye-opener, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is really a true thing, the mind, body, spirit training through your live events. It's the path towards finding that true purpose in life.
Yes.
And we are going to find out more about how this is happening through the Vibesource Academy.
Yes.
But before that, it's time for a short break. Welcome back to Spotlight. We are talking to Mr. Herman Siu. So that was profound knowledge we just had. So now all these events are happening through Vibesource.
Yes.
Is that correct?
Correct.
So now tell us, how come you became part of Vibesource?
So I met the founder, Spencer Taylor, a year ago, August, at an event. And we met, and for whatever reason, he didn't talk to anybody, I didn't talk to anybody. We saw each other, and we only talked to each other. And it was from that, he was always searching to create a platform to help people in the world, especially millennials, because he's a millennial himself. He met me, and he was like, we need what you have. And just like that, we were born to take what he had and take it to the next level. And so that's what we're doing with these events, that's what we're doing with life, helping everybody reach that next level of their life that they never thought possible.
Awesome. So it's because both of you were already aware of it, because both of you were aware of your mind. Yes. Your energies clicked, and now you're helping us with your live events.
Yes.
I understand you just had an event in Toronto.
Yes.
Tell us about it.
So it was called The Awakening. And the reason why it was called The Awakening is because a lot of people in this life go through life unconsciously, just going through the motions, going through the rhythm, going through routines, and they're not fully awake. They're like, just get the kids up, get the kids to school, put them to bed, and go to work, you know, and just keep repeating the same mistakes. But where was the chance for the evolution in that stage? Not a lot of evolution is happening there. That's why people get sick. And so what we do at Vibesource is to help people understand that, sure, you have a routine, sure, you have loved ones, but then you have to make a conscious effort to make that even better so you can help them grow, you can help yourself grow.
Wow, I'm sad I missed it. So where's your next event?
So the next event will be in LA and probably in the new year.
Okay, nice.
Yes, and at LA we were expecting a larger crowd, and it will be probably a 2-day event, just like how The Awakening was, and go more into depth of how show people how to live through their soul, and give them the exercises of the martial arts, the Kung Fu, the Tai Chi, how to embody the mind, the body, and the soul all in one, and show people how they can express that and how they can learn to master that for the rest of their life.
So where can we find more information about it?
If you go to vibesource.com, Vibesource.com, right? And if you go on YouTube, Vibesource, right? And what most people don't understand is, why is it called Vibe? Because it means visualize yourself better every day.
Wow, okay, that's a nice acronym, and really, energizing in the acronym itself.
Exactly.
Awesome.
Exactly that.
So I have to correct myself. I called it Vibesource Academy. That's because I know it's an academy, but officially it's Vibesource.
Yes.
And once again, it is vibesource.com and the YouTube links.
Yes.
So that's information about the live events,
Yes.
but I understand you're shortly launching an online program?
Yes, so about next week we'll be launching our own customary program where people can have access, where they can't attend a live event, they can still have access to things like cooking classes, to the martial arts, to understanding the same type of wisdom, to videos, to all the different things that we do at these events, but take it to a larger scale where people who can't access the event itself can actually at least go online and still access it, so they're not being left out.
Nice. So it's like a global movement, and we truly do need it. I mean, I don't know where all this negativity is coming from, but we just understood today it's because each individual has not realized that need to bring the mind, body, and soul together. And
Yes.
we realized that today after talking to you. Thank you for talking to us about it. And we have live events, but also shortly online programs which bring it all together.
Exactly.
Awesome. So we know where we have to go, vibesource.com for live events, for the online program. So we are on our way to starting our transformation journey. But I have a request for you, for our viewers. Could you give us your most important tip that they can already start practicing on daily?
So most people, they say they love, but no one really understands what love is. They confuse it with infatuation. So here's something that we should really take to note. If we are saying that we are loving and that we love someone, look at your actions right now, look in the mirror, and look at yourself and say, are my actions right now in complete unison to exactly what I say? So most times it's not. And because of that, love is becoming separated from where we exist at. But what most people don't understand is that love is the universal language. Just because maybe you speak a different language than me, it doesn't mean that we're different, we're all one. And love is how we communicate that. Because in the old days, that's how it was done. If there was no translator, you communicated through love. I have a peace offering, I have a gift. That's a form of love. So if anyone who's watching this, they need to learn what real love is. They need to dig very deep inside and understand what it means to love someone, to love something, to love and be grateful for everything around us.
Very well said and a very good tip. So find the true love within us, adapt, change, evolve, bring your mind, body, and soul together so you can find that true purpose in life. Thank you so much for talking to us, Mr. Herman Siu, and we will get more information on Vibesource.com. All the best with the event in LA.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. तो आज मिस्टर हरमन स्यू ने हमें एहसास दिलाया है कि the mind, body, and soul have to function in unison towards true happiness in life. Well, that's it for today's show. Thank you for watching us. Continue to follow us on Facebook and Twitter, and write to me at spotlight@ethnicchannels.com. A special thank you to Mr. Dinesh Ramsey for sponsoring my wardrobe. Until next week, this is Amitha signing off, encouraging you to find the true happiness by mind, body, and soul coming together.